What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So, listen, guys. Okay. Now, I was asked, did I hear what Lenox Lewis said about Anthony Joshua? And I said something different because I just did a video about Lenox Lewis. Did I hear what he said about Deontay Wilder? And I said, okay, something new. I said, because I just did a video about Lenox Lewis talking about Anthony Joshua. He said, well, just check it out. He's making excuses, right? I said, okay, as usual. So I said, let me give it a listen. I said, so what is he talking about? Now, if you go on like the boxing scene, there's another, you guys see I post these things up in the community section so you can see where they come from. But they'll post, these things. So he's on there. Now, when I typed it in on Google search, that's what came up. So I typed it in on YouTube to see if there's a actual video, like the actual interview of Lewis. Now, couple channels came up speaking about Lenox Lewis. Now, the most current thing I saw was Counterpunch Boxing, Kurt DeVille. Salute to Kurt DeVille, Counterpunch Boxing. Now, I'm hearing what he says, and he gave his take on it. Okay. Now, I'm going to go from what Lenox Lewis said, and even some of the points that Kurt made. But I'm going to, of course, point out some things that people really need to look at. Okay? Now, you can give a man the benefit of a doubt. The problem with that is we're selective with who we give the benefit of a doubt to. So certain people, it's a reason why they didn't do a certain thing or they looked a certain way. But with everybody else is an excuse. Okay, even from the lips of the same person that people are making excuses for. Now, Lenox Lewis basically was saying that he don't know what was going on with Wilder the night he fought Parker. That Parker basically, he had his way pretty much. Wilder didn't do much of anything. He didn't look like himself. He think it was just a money grab. It's always a fucking money grab. Always. When the fuck is it not a money grab? Okay, even if legacy's on the mind, it's still a money grab because the money's there, right? Okay. When you're in a position where you're not making big money and you're having these tough fights and you haven't had these big paydays yet, that's something different because, well, you're in a position to try to still get to that, big money. Okay, that being said, he talked about his weight wasn't right. He looked very skinny and all that. Okay. Same excuses we've heard before. Okay, it's just there's other excuses that we hear and outweigh those by far in terms of people constantly making videos and talking about it, whether they agreeing or disagreeing. Now, let me point out something that Kurt said. He talked about Roy Jones. Roy Jones went up to heavyweight. And in fact, we heard that Roy was 193. We heard he was 199. Never heard that he even broke 200. Okay. Roy Jones is like 5'11". Never fought at heavyweight ever. At no point in his life. So the heaviest that he could get and still be able to be Roy, okay, probably could have won up to 205. Okay, probably could have did that. Probably had to put, more than likely would have to put the rest on his legs. But bottom line is that's the weight he came up to. Now he dropped back down, lost 25 pounds of muscle to go back to 175 and fight Antonio Tarver, which was quick. Wasn't a year later, 2 years later. It was quick. Okay, and I do believe that Roy was affected by that because you could see Roy Jones was huffing and puffing in the third round. So, yeah, and I agree with that. And Kurt makes a great point. with that. Now, in terms of Wilder, here's where things are different. This motherfucker's 6'7". Yes, he's usually broader in the shoulder, but we've seen him come down and fight at 213, 214 before. And what did he say? The same thing that him and Malik Scott both said this time. That's his perfect weight. That's his unbeatable weight. That's the weight you can't touch Wilder at, right? So isn't it funny that Wilder comes in at his perfect weight, gets his ass whooped, and now it wasn't a good weight? Hold up. When he came in at 238 against Tyson Fury, what did I say? Wilder need to put that weight on his legs. See, he's already psychologically beat by Fury because he's picturing trying to wrestle Fury around and trying to, out-muscle him when you too light in the ass for that. You're not there to wrestle. You should have put that weight on your legs. Bottom line is, he said that was too heavy. There was experimenting. Remember, I made the video and I said that's pretty goddamn dumb to be a sacrificial lab rat and come into a fight, not training, but a actual fight. And then you're going to find out if 238 is a good weight or not. So when I looked at that, I said, okay, for one, you got to understand, being heavy up top is not going to make him faster. If anything, it'll slow him down. It's not going to make him punch harder. And pretty much, if he put the weight on his legs, well, he doesn't have good footwork. He doesn't use the ring with like pivots and sidestepping and step arounds and all. No, he just goes back, okay, the whole perimeter of the fucking ring in a straight line. That's what he does. That being said, all right, if he would have put the weight on his legs, okay, he still doesn't have good boxing fundamentals. So, but at least in that sense, his speed would have been there. It wouldn't have took nothing away. It didn't really matter anyway, because if you look at the first, second, and third fight, the first fight, I think he was at his lightest compared to the second and the third one. He didn't have to be 238 to knock Fury down 2 times in the first fight. So to get 2 knockdowns in the third fight at 238, it made no difference, now did it? Also, I believe what he's thinking too is punch resistance. Maybe, and I don't even think that they think that far ahead. Because basically, I don't really think they really thought about Fury throwing body shots, and he was calling the man pillow-fisted, right? Okay, so my whole thing is, when you look at what this motherfucker actually went in there and did, okay, against Robert Helenius, I don't remember what his fucking weight was, but the fight ended in the first round. Let me explain what would have happened if that fight had went several rounds. Let's say, for example, Robert Helenius went 8 rounds with AJ, right? Let's say he would have went 8 rounds with Wilder, and he's in there looking good. Then he gets knocked out, right? Do you know what the excuse would have been? Why he was why he went in there with a journeyman and didn't get rid of him? It was his sparring partner, and so he knew Wilder's style. That's why he was able to hang in there. But the fact is, he got caught and got knocked the fuck out in the first round. Now, flip things over with AJ. Johnny Nelson said Ben Davison added nothing to Anthony Joshua's game. He didn't change him any kind of way. Anthony Joshua, okay, was a sparring partner with Otto Wallin, and he knew what he had to do. And I'm listening to that, and I say, wow. Now, here's a guy, think about it, that says AJ was the same AJ. No, he wasn't the same AJ. Even from his face, his facial expressions, his body language, this was a different AJ. Anybody could see that shit. His performance showed to be different. You're saying that he knew what he had to do. He figured his style out. Okay, he fought Usyk twice. He did better in the rematch, but he still fought the wrong strategy, which means if his confidence wasn't there, he went there against Otto Wallin and struggled with him as well. Okay, do you see how this thing works though? All of these people said, Anthony Joshua, there's no way he's going to become a better fighter switching with all these trainers. He need one trainer and stick with that one trainer, and it takes years and this and that. See, people put limitations on you, even though at one point you were fighting at a higher level, and you actually could fucking box. Whereas Wilder never could box, right? Wait, he never could box. Lenox Lewis said also in that article, he basically said, well, Deontay Wilder, if he doesn't retire, that he should basically get, add a new trainer to his camp. Okay, wait, let me remind you guys, he had Mark Breland. He still sucked with Mark Breland. Why? Because he doesn't listen. And every time you guys say how many knockouts he has, you always overlook who has he been knocking out. So then when I say when he steps up in competition, it's going to be different. It's just a coincidence. He has no wins over no elite fighters. None. And before you bring up half-ass, lose my fucking title in the first fight, Bermane-Stiverne, let's not forget, Trevor Bryant also held a belt. Charles Martin also held a belt. Okay? Let's not forget that. So holding a belt doesn't make you an elite guy. Okay? It's what you do as a champion, how you get the belt, who you fought, how did you defend that belt. Can you say those things about Bermane-Stiverne? Can you say those things about Charles Martin? Can you say those things about Trevor Bryant? No. So, that being said, right? He has no wins over no elite guys, and I don't want to hear nothing about no fucking Luis Ortiz, who was already past his prime anyway. The boogeyman. If right now, as good as Frank Sanchez is, Frank Sanchez's biggest win is over Efe Ajagba. If people started talking about, oh, he's the boogeyman, and talking about how good he is, you can see the skills. But he still doesn't have wins over elite guys. Efe Ajagba is like at the bottom of the elite. He's there to try to get up there. And he poses a threat, okay? But right now, if Frank Sanchez was to retire, what we'd have to say about him is we think he would have went on to do great things. We think. We don't know for sure because you don't know how boxing how things is going to go. You're using your imagination to think what the guy might have done. So we don't know. Okay, but just saying, you can see the skills. Point blank, if Frank Sanchez was fighting Luis Ortiz in his prime, I go with Frank Sanchez all day. Now, that being said, the guy has no wins over any elite fighters. So is it just a fucking coincidence that when he steps up in class, he loses? That's why Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Ken Norton, Shavers, Foreman, Ron Lau, that's why all those guys get so much credit, because they were fighting each other. That's why. So win, lose, or draw, long fight, short fight, they were fighting each other. And that's why they get so much respect. But that's also why they had losses. Because they fought each other. If you sit back, think about how many fighters would still be undefeated if they fought the same guys that Wilder fought. The only exception in terms of being competitive is it would be Tyson Fury. Now, Luis Ortiz had decent skills. Okay, decent skills. He was no great fighter. Okay, but bottom line is, even in those fights, it's the same typical Wilder shit. Get outboxed, lose every goddamn round, and then knock somebody out. The point is you get the win. But as you go up, that one trick is going to start to run out. Okay? You play fucking poker and you play with the same exact hand every time, people are going to get on to you. Okay, I know how you play. I got him. Simple. So for him, 238 was too much. 214 is his perfect weight. But basically, it was too light. Every time this guy, how long has he been fighting professionally now? He doesn't know what fight weight he should be at. His team is that unprofessional. Guess what? That's his fucking problem. That has nothing to fucking do with Joseph Parker or nobody else. And see, what I don't like about that type of shit is this. So we're going to fucking just overlook what Joseph Parker did. No, Joseph Parker didn't train his ass off. Joseph Parker didn't have a game plan. Joseph Parker didn't do film study. Joseph Parker didn't come in there and fight and secure the win. No, basically Wilder just had a bad night. It was his weight. It had nothing to do with Joseph Parker. So we're not going to give Joseph Parker credit. Joseph Parker, who got flattened by Joe Joyce, wants the rematch. He welcomes the rematch. Who's about to fight Zhang? He welcomed that fight. Win, lose, or draw, he wants to fight Joe Joyce again. Whereas Wilder says things like, I show people time and time again what I could do. Against who, Wilder? You have no wins against no fucking top level guy. So the whole thing is, it comes to excuses. Now, Anthony Joshua, he can't fucking find success with a new trainer because he needs to fight with that one trainer. He's trained with that one trainer and master his style and all that. Somehow, a guy that can actually box, a guy who's still the fucking cash cow, still the fucking attraction at the heavyweight division, but yet he can't get better, which we watched him do. But somehow Wilder can. You think that Wilder been fighting this way all this time, and all of a sudden now he's going to add an uppercut or a hook or... No. Wilder. See, this is why I do what I do. Did I not play the video for you guys? What did Deontay Wilder say out of his own mouth? What applies to other guys, other fighters, don't apply to me. So what difference does it make if he gets a new trainer? He doesn't listen. He doesn't have the ability to absorb anything that he doesn't want to do. So, it doesn't matter. The dude had Mark Breland. I don't care who you put in there. Look, Kurt DeVille said he believed it was ego and him wanting that money. Once again, that's Wilder's fucking problem. That ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. Let me tell y'all something. It's like, I've told you this story before. Sometimes you just gotta, reiterate shit. When Terry Norris was gonna fight Sugar Ray Leonard, I was a kid. So I like both of them. So I'm like, it's just, I don't know who I want to win. Right? I'm a kid. But at the same time, it's like, okay. I remember all the older people in the room asked me, who do I think was going to win? I said, I think Terry Norris is going to beat him. Nah, young blood. Nah, Terry, he good, but he ain't no Sugar Ray. Nah, Sugar Ray is this, Sugar Ray is that. We're sitting there watching the Donnie Lalonde fight. We're watching, I said, yeah, that's all good. I see what he's doing, but I think you asked me, and I'm telling you, I think Terry's going to win. I'm watching both of them. I'm watching Terry's explosiveness. I'm watching his speed, his power, his ring IQ, his smarts. Terry was one of the rare dudes. If you watch this dude, he'd throw a punch, right? His opponent would parry the shot. He would feint. Simply feint. Control the way they move. Pow! Cat like that. Yo, I break down shit. I watch things that people don't pay attention to. Terry would do some incredible shit in that ring. And I'm watching, and I said, okay, Sugar Ray Leonard was 34. Terry was 26. Okay? Nobody thought Terry was going to win. Do you know the excuse was afterwards is that, oh man, Ray was old. That's the reason he wanted to fight. No, tell the truth. Terry didn't even want to fight Ray. Ray was his idol. Terry said, I really don't want to fight Sugar Ray Leonard, man. That's my idol, man. To go in there and fight him, that bell ring, then that goes out the window. And I respect and love Ray, man. He didn't want to fight Ray. Ray came after Terry Norris. Now, you ask yourself, did he come after Terry Norris because he's thinking that's going to be an honor to share the ring with him, and it's going to be a great fight? Or was it, he's a solid fighter, but I see holes in his game that I know I could exploit? Which was it? Which was it? Because you got to remember, I remember when they asked him about fighting against Pernell Whitaker, he said, it's a joke. He's too small. Right? And I said, okay. So, 154, he goes after Terry Norris. Ray Leonard said, He felt great in training. He felt great in the locker room and everything. He said when he started walking to the ring, he just had this weird feeling like he knew he was going to lose. And I said, yeah, reality started to set in that you fuck with the wrong fighter. Terry Norris went in there and beat him. Ray still had the hand speed. Ray, you watch and you see Ray was throwing them shots. He just couldn't land shit, okay? I don't give a fuck about if Ray was 28, he would have did this. If Ray was 20, I don't care nothing about what you think would have happened. The fight happened and it went the way it went. None of you motherfuckers was saying this shit before, okay, the fight happened. No, Terry didn't have a chance. He's no Ray Leonard. But when he lose, all of a sudden, it's his age. He's 34 fucking years old. That's why people get mad when I say how old was Floyd when he retired. He's 38, 4 years older than fucking Ray. But y'all talking shit. Like, okay, so that means you can't compare Ray to Floyd at that age either. Do you understand? Yeah, but no. There's no yeah, but. Once you accept something, you accept it. The excuses go out the fucking window. When Andy Ruiz beat Anthony Joshua, all you heard was, no, man, AJ lost. Yeah, he did. But let's combat something. You're willing to accept and believe that a man was too light. It was simply because he just wanted the money. Yet this guy said he has a multi-million dollar deal with the Saudis. And you want to know to say that, but then wait, you guys are quick to accept that it was his weight and it was just a money grab. But wait. We know for a fact, I got to reiterate, we know for a fact Serafina sat there in an interview. Y'all know I can go pull up receipts. I've done it already. Okay, with this same interview and said, Joey DeWaco called her and told her, tell Jarrell Miller not to worry, I just concussed Anthony Joshua. AJ didn't say shit about it. Joey DeWaco never denied it. Anthony Joshua simply said, look, I was fine, the better man won. You realize that, these guys can get themselves in a lot of trouble sending a fighter in the ring concussed? AJ never talked about it. We never fucking dig into it. But Wilder is full of excuses and people making excuses for him. So we're willing to accept that his weight wasn't right and it was just a money grab over a guy who clearly, even Wilder himself said something just wasn't right with AJ. You could tell. Okay. We don't need to dwell on it. AJ took the fight regardless. He went in there. What happened, happened. It's over. Move on. The man's career's moved on. Wilder still stuck behind excuses. Tyson Fury never beat Wilder. Not one time. All three of them fights, he cheated. Okay? Bottom line. Joseph Parker didn't beat Wilder. His weight beat him. You want to know something if you want to compare Roy Jones and Wilder? As I said, Roy Jones was huffing and puffing from the third round on. And you could see, and he had to dig down and fight back and at this point, Roy's getting hit more than people are used to. Now, I clearly feel like Roy won that fight because Tarver didn't do shit in the middle of the ring. He was trying that Ray Leonard shit against Hagler. Like the last 30 seconds of the round, he tried to load up on punches. Most of that shit wasn't even getting through. But that's what he was trying to do, to try to steal around. In the middle of the ring, he didn't do shit. Roy Jones, like I said, was dead tired in the third round. Deontay Wilder, he went them 12 rounds with no problem. So the weight wasn't a fucking factor. If he was in there tired from throwing punches, if he was in that motherfucker, basically like struggling physically, not technically, but physically, like he's sluggish. No, you didn't see that. No, you know why that motherfucker wasn't throwing punches, and I'm gonna tell you what people fail to realize. Joseph Parker was different. Joseph Parker trained. He nullified this shit that he was doing, and pretty much Deontay Wilder had no answers for nothing. And he didn't expect Joseph Parker to come at him like that. They thought Joseph Parker was washed. And the amount of shit that Deontay Wilder talked, there's no fucking way that anybody should even want to make it a fucking excuse for him. So what Lenox Lewis is saying, even if, let's say, I don't believe that bullshit about his weight. You can see when a fighter is sluggish. You can see when a fighter, like I said, the guy was dancing around the whole fucking night on them little chicken legs. So if he wanted to prove a point that he can fucking just move around and not fight back, yeah, he proved that. He proved that. But he's trying to fight a style he's not used to. And that's the reason why he was so gun-shy, and the fact that Parker was able to tag him so often. Wilder's not a brawler. He's a puncher. Wilder doesn't get in there and mix it up and trade punches with you. That's not what Wilder does. But do you see how people are so fixated on making excuses for Wilder? Like, he can't fucking just lose a fight. Okay? A multimillionaire is accused of raping someone or murder or oh man, they just trying to take his money. Somebody bagging groceries at Walmart, oh, that nigga did it, broke ass nigga, he did that shit. Oh, because he's not rich, his life is not worth shit, right? And pretty much he did it. Why? But a rich person, nah, they just after that person's money. Some people put these fighters on pedestals. I don't put none of them on a pedestal. I respect what they do. I respect certain moves they make. But there's no favoritism in me. And I don't make excuses. And Wilder's weight is nothing but a fucking excuse. A fucking excuse. If that dude was huffing and puffing, because see, Roy Jones lost all that weight. Wilder, okay, was 238 in that last Fury fight. That was several years ago. So that wasn't like he just walked in and all of a sudden, like he just dropped a bunch of weight in a short period of time. No, that's Wilder's. Look, he already fought. He fought Hellenius. And I said, look at his footwork and the way he's moving. Like, I'm like, Wilder don't look so good. But the fight ended so quick, people didn't really pay attention to that. So after I said it, then they went back and when they watched, they go, I see, yeah, his movement was, I'm like, okay. So for him to try to jump around and skip around, trying to fight like Malik Scott, the Malik Scott style didn't work against you. You can't box at all. You're not a boxer. Even one of the Darrell brothers tapped in, yo, bro, you're not a boxer. Why are you jumping around trying to box like you Ali or something? And I'm like, thank you that somebody is not going to dance on eggshells with this motherfucker and sit there and try to be neutral. Fuck neutral. Say it like the fuck it is. The dude can't box for shit. You have to be raw until the fucking point to get your point across. Because all of this laying back and, I think it could have been this, that, and, man, Lenox Lewis is always going to make excuses for Wilder. If that was Anthony Joshua looking like that, you know what Lenox Lewis would be saying? I think Anthony Joshua should definitely retire. He wouldn't be talking about getting another trainer, nothing. He already had several trainers. Okay, well, remember, Wilder made a comment, how all these guys are changing trainers. I still got my same team. See how that changed, though? You cannot learn when you're not willing to. He doesn't have the fucking ability to learn. Like he said, what applies to other fighters don't apply to me. I got the blessing and the curse in the right hand. Lenox Lewis referenced how when you're knocking guys out all the time, right. But knocking out low-tier fighters and having your head gassed up to think that you're beating quality opponents. And you're ignorant enough and your ego's big enough to make you actually believe that shit. Listen. Wilder's been boxing for too fucking long to not know what his weight should be. And according to him and Malik Scott, this is his perfect weight. So why are you guys making excuses about his weight? His weight being a problem when he himself said that's his perfect weight. See, I'm going to tell you like this. When you're used to getting your way all the time, you're not used to being told no. You're not used to people putting you in your place. That's why people who are friends with me love me to death. And why people are leery about being around me, because I tell shit like the fuck it is. Like when his camera's off, Aries is the same person. I don't get in front of a camera and act different for people. So I'm the type of person, if you ask me for a ride and I tell you no, and you say, oh, you're not going that way? Yeah, I'm going that way. I'm just not giving you a ride. That's me. It's real simple. Say what you mean and mean what you say. These fucking, look, I'm not walking around with a microphone sniffing up people's ass trying to get interviews. I don't want to go to your fucking gym and hang out with you. I don't want to fucking, I'm not, oh my God, it's such an honor to, no. You're just a fucking human being. That's all you fucking are. The only heroes in my fucking life that I've ever looked up to was my mom, my dad, my uncles, and people like that. Not no fighter, not no rapper, not no actor, not none of that shit. So I don't give a fuck about star power. I don't care about their legacies and all that. No, I just like a great fight. How the fuck am I going to care about your fucking legacy? That's your legacy. So when you don't fight and you don't do things, see, I like to give the boxing news. In fact, I love to give it because I'm going to cut that shit. I'm going to call it straight down the fucking middle. You always are going to have somebody, oh, but how come this and that? And, well, what about this person? It's always a bunch of diva shit. Say it like it is. The motherfucker can't box. Okay? Like I said, the motherfucker, he skipped fucking preschool. Okay? He skipped fucking elementary into intermediate and tried to go straight to high school. Okay, that's what he did. And he was able to fucking deal with certain people. In fact, name one opponent, one, outside of Tyson Fury that people talk about all the time. Name one. You can't even say Luis Ortiz. Who the fuck talks about Luis Ortiz? You can't name one motherfucker that Deontay knocked out and people said, that's a bad motherfucker right there. I'm talking about his opponent. Yo, that's a bad motherfucker that Deontay just knocked out. Oh, yo, that dude is solid. Yeah, that motherfucker can fight. Not one. Not one fucking person can you say that they talk about that was a former opponent. Not one. So, I digress. How in the fuck is it that when I say, when he steps up in competition, you're going to see the difference? He steps up in competition, all of a sudden, the knockout stops. It's just like someone being on fucking PEDs or something, right? And all of a sudden, they stop taking the shit, their physique change. And all of a sudden, their very next fight back goes the distance. Everything before that was brutal knockouts. You think that's just a coincidence? So, yeah, Lenox Lewis is always going to praise Wilder. That's what he does. I mean, we saw the video years ago when he out there in that parking lot trying to show Deontay Wilder how to throw a fucking jab. Wilder was already in this game for how many years? And he's fucking needing somebody to teach him how to properly throw a fucking jab. Wilder still don't turn the right hand over properly. He still makes fucking novice mistakes. Okay, he's 38 years old. I don't know why everybody keep talking like this motherfucker got another 10 years left in the sport or something. Wilder done this. He's done this to himself. And I think what really bothers people is because they know the reality is he's finished. They know this. But they want to see him come back. And they want to try to play neutral with the guy. And they want to say nice things and try to pretend. No, listen. I said Adrian Broner was finished. No, Aries, I don't know about that because this and that. I ain't ask you what the fuck you think you know. I'm saying he's finished. And I'm only looking at what he does and how he does it. Now look at Adrian Broner. When did I say that? Like 2 years ago, right? Now all of a sudden people, oh, AB's finished. Oh, it just took y'all 2 years to catch up. Simple. When I said, I think the 140-pound division have talented fighters. They have some good fighters. And with the addition of a Teofimo, a Devin Haney, or any of those guys that come from 135 to come up to 140, do you guys think that they would be as effective at 140? Do you think the 140 division, because look how stacked it would be, right? Look, the reality is the majority of those guys, they're not as good as a Tank, as a Devin, as a Teofimo, or even as a Ryan. That's the reality of it. That being said, Josh Taylor, Regis Prograis, was amongst the top 3, top 5 okay, of 140 pounders. Look at what Teofimo did to Josh Taylor. Was it because he had a bad night, or was it just because Tio was just that much better? Look at what Haney just did to Regis Prograis. Was it because he had a bad night, or was it because Haney was just that much better? Tank Davis and all these other motherfuckers pick Regis. Regis hit too hard, yo. Haney not gonna be able to deal with that shit. Okay, well, here's the deal. Pound for pound, I don't know who hits harder, Tank Davis or Regis Prograis. I'll put it to you like this, though. Tank Davis saw that performance that Haney put on against Regis after he ran his mouth talking about how he wasn't going to deal with that power, and Haney went there and completely annihilated him like I thought he would. Notice how all of a sudden now Tank Davis, he's making every excuse to not fight Haney, even in Saudi, where he'll make far more money over there than he would over here in the States. No, he is complacent with being on a shitty card, but being the main event and then taking, pretty much the lion's share and just throwing crumbs to his opponent. He's okay with that because it's all about the money. See the difference, though? Tank is going to come to fight. And the thing about it is, Tank pretty much, as far as I'm concerned, could beat all of them. Now, as far as Haney goes, people keep sleeping on Haney, talking about Tank's power. Now, Tank is better than Regis, don't get me wrong. But again, it's easier said than done. And Tank Davis knows when he watch Haney, that motherfucker's a problem. I don't give a fuck. You can talk all that niggas is broke and all this dumb, ignorant shit, but he knows Haney's a fucking problem. He knows this. Don't believe that confident, cocky shit. No, he knows Haney's a problem. Whatever happened to, I want to fight this dude. These motherfuckers don't want to fight each other. But the ones that want to fight are the ones being outcasted. You motherfuckers would rather cheer a fighter that make excuses to not fight, but you want to boo a fighter who's out here making history, making it happen, trying to make it happen. I'm the champ, but I'm chasing you challengers down. The challengers are not even chasing the champ when it comes to Haney. But the so-called superstars are the ones who don't want to fucking fight. Make any dumbass excuse to not fight the other top guys. And you guys are okay with that. No different when it comes to the heavyweights. It's like it's become the politically correct thing to say is that nobody can beat Wilder outside of Fury. But then it happens, it has to be an excuse. Why? Because when people open their mouth to say shit, they don't like to be wrong. So instead of just saying, hey, instead of just saying, hey, look, man, salute to Joseph Parker. He came in and did what he had to do. And you know what also pisses people off like Lenox Lewis? Because, see, Anthony Joshua, he beat Joseph Parker. So he don't want to accept that reality that he thought Wilder was going to smash Joseph Parker. How do you sound when you say, Joseph Parker's a good fighter, former champion, but the right hand, Wilder's his punches, and he has one punch, not his punches. He has one punch. One. So instead of just saying, hey man, listen, I thought Joseph Parker wasn't going to survive, but he did. He proved me wrong. Hey, salute Joseph Parker. No, these motherfuckers are too hard-hearted and too stubborn to admit the truth. Joseph Parker was seen as a washed-up fighter. After what Wilder did to Robert Helenius, people thought it was going to be the same type of thing. They was talking about 2 to 3 rounds. So that shows you how much they wrote Joseph Parker off. So bottom line is, there's no way in hell. There's no way in hell that Joseph Parker should be beating no damn Deontay. Why not? Why not? And here's a guy who want to fight the guy that beat him, whereas Wilder don't want to do that. See, so when Lenox Lewis says Deontay Wilder, he think it was just a money grab. He don't think his head, his heart, and his soul was in that. Okay, is that any different from Wilder saying, I'm a happy fighter? I don't know. I don't know if I still got my killer instinct. And then all of a sudden, when I had my killer instinct, nobody had a chance. Motherfucker, you got 3 losses. You got 2 losses with your killer instinct. Gift of the draw, and bottom line is you got your ass whooped 3 times as far as I'm concerned. Fuck all that goofy shit. But bottom line is you got beat by Parker. So did you have your killer instinct when you fought Tyson Fury? Did I mean, because according to you, somebody put the hooju's on you or whatever you called it. Your water was poisoned, but your piss came back fucking clean. Yet you were poisoned. Yeah, all that. You was hit in the head, got a dent in your head with a fucking egg weight. Your doctor told you that, yeah, he must have had an egg weight in his glove, right? That was your words. Even though you're still alive, they did an autopsy on you according to your brother. And the autopsy showed, that you got hit in the head with an egg weight. Remember all of that. Fury had no gloves, no pad in his gloves. Then he had an egg weight in his gloves. Then he didn't have his hand all the way in the glove. I mean, you had a crab in the barrel as referee. A cryo chamber drained you of all your energy. Your costume was too heavy, it was 45 pounds. Like, y'all, when the fuck does the excuses stop? Then every time I rip his ass open, people, man, why you keep getting that wild? Because you motherfuckers keep making excuses for this dude. And I gotta wake y'all the fuck up with facts and truth, man. Okay? You don't come from 238 and then 3 fucking years later, all of a sudden, you fighting at a lower weight, but you do all this training. All these multiple hundreds of rounds he claimed he done did sparring. You know, and like I said, his conditioning wasn't an issue. He danced around and ran all night long for 12 straight rounds. Never stopped dancing around and running. Again, you don't pull the trigger when you're not sure about yourself. He was cut like he always is, but he was a lot smaller. Now, for you to accept that money and accept that deal, you know you got to come and deliver. So if the Saudis gave you a multi-million-dollar, multi-fight deal, and you want to secure that and not blow it, you come in there ready. I don't want to hear no bullshit about he wasn't ready. Jarrell Miller came in there, 330 fucking pounds? If Jarrell Miller would have came in that motherfucker 280, 260, the same thing would have happened. You want to know why? Because Jarrell Miller can no longer throw 75, 80 punches around anymore. And I told you, that was his strong point. His physical size, okay? I never seen him at 260, whatever. He always came in like around 200, 280, 300 pounds. But bottom line is, he comes in there and the volume of punches that he throws, the constant moving, right? He don't even care if it's landing. He's just, right? Coming in, you know, that's what he does, okay? Margarito, Paul Williams type shit. I told you, when they lose that ability to constantly throw punches all night, like all night, that's when they're gonna become sitting ducks. You seen that happen against Daniel Dubois, and the amount of shit that Jarrell Miller talked. I don't want to hear nothing about his weight. It's always a fucking look. It's your job to make weight. So even if you make weight or miss weight by a pound or two, what do people say? It's unprofessional. So why is it somebody can come in there shred it the fuck up, right? But they're supposed to come in 175, but they come in, 177. Oh, that's unprofessional, man. You have to make weight. Okay, so for these fucking heavyweights, where there's no fucking such thing as a super heavyweight division, okay, so bottom line is, you coming in the best shape that you can possibly get in, right? Well, for any fighter. But why is it those people are unprofessional? But this motherfucker been in this sport all these years and he still don't know what his fucking right fight weight, what his so-called best fight weight is? No, he said that's his best fight weight, 214. Malik Scott confirmed that shit. But everybody else is saying different? What is this? What fucking world do we live in? He's saying one thing, y'all saying something different. Nah. So now we gonna throw the weight in it? Along with the cryo chamber shit? And all the other fucking excuses? Every fucking time it's an excuse for Deontay Wilder. Nah, man. I'm not trying to hear that bullshit. Deontay Wilder just got his ass whooped by a better fighter. And you guys are doing a disservice Not to just, you're doing a disservice to Joseph Parker. You're doing a disservice to boxing itself. Why? Because that man went in there and trained his ass off. He trimmed down, was a lot smaller, a lot lighter than what he normally was. He came in there. He went the distance with no problem. He trains his ass off, and y'all are going to fucking chop that down to make excuses for Wilder. Now, yes, I've seen fights where it's like, it's not so much what that guy did, it's what that guy didn't do. This was a situation of he couldn't do it because that guy wouldn't let him. This wasn't no, oh, I just had a bad night. No, he was getting hit. He doesn't have the defensive skills, and the fact of the matter is, he's not one of those guys that can slip and slide and move, counter, parry shots, and all. Wilder doesn't do any of that shit. That's not this type of style that he's used to. He hasn't even mastered his usual style. He just gets the knockout against meatballs. Tell me when I'm fucking lying. That's all he's ever been. You guys pumped him up to be better than what he is. And then he rides the hype train, and he's selling himself as being the hardest puncher, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. But like I said, now, do all that against the top level guys. So it's just a coincidence that Parker won. It's just a coincidence that Tyson Fury won. Just, hey, look, shit is not hard. I've always been the type of person, call it the way it is, right down the middle. No beating around the fucking bush. Say what the fuck you mean. This is not something that people don't understand. Let me say, because I don't have a favorite fighter. So let me say it this way. There's no fighter, dead or alive, that I like more than Terry Norris in that ring. Muhammad Ali in that ring. Anthony Joshua in that ring. I mean Lenox Lewis in that ring. You understand what I'm saying? Sugar Ray in that ring. Marvin Hagler. Okay, there's several guys. Do you understand what I'm telling you? So when you hear what I'm saying and I'm calling bullshit on Lenox Lewis, what does that mean? I don't like him as a fighter? I don't give him his props as a fighter? No. Do you have blood relatives that you agree with everything that they say? Even when they're full of shit? A difference of opinion is one thing. But when you sit here and it's like, example. Let me make an example. And I have to do this and simplify shit because you always have somebody watch the channel and they always make some dumbass comment like you heard everything I said and you still ask a stupid question like you didn't hear me cover that. Let me make a simple example, okay? One night, right where I'm sitting right now, we heard this loud, fucking weird, right? Person was going to their car, went, oh shit, you heard that? I said, yeah, I heard something. That was a Bigfoot. I looked at the guy. I just laughed. He said, Aries, I know you don't believe in Bigfoots, but why? I said, no, a better question is this. Have you ever seen one? Well, no, but I've seen video now. I ain't asked you about no video. Have you ever seen a Bigfoot in person? Well, no, but I hear stories. I didn't ask you nothing about what you hear. Have you ever seen a Bigfoot in person? Well, no, okay. But what else could it be? Okay, so because you can't think of anything other than it's a Bigfoot, what else could it be? It has to be a Bigfoot. Then that makes it a Bigfoot. Okay, bottom line is anybody can sit here and make weird sounds, weird noises. It's not that hard. I mean, I've seen people fucking beatbox and throw their voices and can do a bunch of shit. And you understand what I'm just saying? Something that you think is not humanly possible. Why? Because you can't do it. So a better question is, since you've never seen one, why do you believe in Bigfoots? Because of stories that people tell you? So what I'm saying to you is, the burden of proof is not on my shoulders. You're making a claim that they're real. I'm saying, show me one. Show me a dead one. Show me something other than the usual, whoa. And when you have people saying Bigfoots, literally, I watched a show and they said Bigfoots have the ability to blur your camera. I got a picture of a so-called Bigfoot when I zoom in, you'll laugh your ass off and you see what it actually is. It's actually moss. And someone literally took a mask and stuck it in this moss. So from a distance, it looks like something sitting hunched over. Well, use your common sense. This fucking thing doesn't get up and move. It just sits in the same position every day, all day. Like, I mean, people don't think. So my point is, you will have people angrily behind your back. Of course, they don't say that shit to me. But behind your back, man, you don't believe in fucking Bigfoots, man. He always saying Bigfoots. You don't believe in aliens. And yeah, right. I don't. You do. Without any proof, you just believe shit. So anybody can sit here and make up stupidity. So imagine him telling somebody what he heard. Didn't we hear Bigfoot? No, motherfucker, you heard some noise. I ain't hear shit but a noise. You claim it's a Bigfoot. Never seen one. I've been living here for a long time. Never seen one. Okay? And these people haven't seen one. Every fucking time you hear somebody talk, people, understand. They're telling you something that they want to be true. So they try to convince you to believe it. And you know what they start doing? They start lying. They start to become super delusional with just adding shit to what happened, what they heard, what they saw, which is fucking nothing. So I could sit here right now. Oh, what the fuck is that? And I could be sitting here laughing. Look at this dumb motherfucker running from nothing. Do you understand what I'm saying? That is what people do. I want people to believe me. If I like a fighter and I think he's the greatest fighter of all time, I want you to think it too. You don't have the right to think somebody else is better than that person. I don't give a flying fuck who you think suck, who you think is good. I don't care who you think is great, who's not. I don't care. I'm not in the business of trying to convince you shit about who's who. Which is why, even when I like people comments, I don't necessarily have to agree with your comment, but I respect your viewpoint. But if you say some dumb shit, it's like, no, I'm not going to say I like a dumbass fucking meaningless fucking comment. Understand me. We might make fun of people and crack jokes on people and all that. All right, cool. But I'm saying when it comes down to people just making up shit and trying to push that as being true, no, you're not going to get me to jump on that. I don't respect that. I have no reason to sit here and make lies up. I don't sit up here and try to make people into superhumans. You are who you are. Your capabilities are your capabilities. But you cannot sit here and overlook the facts of a person's resume, the quality of the opponents that they fought, who they were able to dominate and who they weren't. And when you have a guy that's being outboxed by C-class fighters, and y'all call this motherfucker elite because he knocked them out in the end, well, you guys created that shit. Chad Dawson was a hype job. Jermaine Taylor was overhyped. He was good, but he was overhyped. Who else? Who's the guy that used to call Kid Chocolate? Got destroyed. Took like 3 years off, came back and got destroyed again, never to be heard from again. But, you know, it's several people I can think of. Several people. Many fighters you can think of that they was always called some type of monster or some type of, you know, superhuman fighter and all this shit. And then all of a sudden, they fizzled out. James Kirkland was overhyped. You understand what I'm saying? People, oh man, imagine this, and you're watching them. See, and the crazy thing is, when you are honest, you're a hater. Well, I guess I'm a hater then, because I'm always be honest. So the flaws that I see in these guys, that I clearly can see, this person only has one way to win. One. You nullify that shit, he has nothing. Can luck strike? Yeah. Can a motherfucker just time you and catch you and get, yeah. Luck may not have nothing to do with it. But overall, no. These type of fighters, when you see how limited they are, yet you like them because you think they're exciting. Y'all said the same shit about Andre Berto, Victor Ortiz. Yo, they're always in exciting fights, this and this and that. And I remember when Victor Ortiz stood there and said, I don't deserve to be, be getting beat up like this. And they basically sound like a complete bitch. And when I said, I don't think much of him, what I meant was this. In terms of his actual boxing skills, Victor Ortiz was good, but when he got it, I forgot who whooped his ass, but I remember him saying how he don't deserve to be getting beat up like this, and I'm just looking at this dude like, what the fuck, and I just shook my head. And I remember talking to one of my co-workers, and they said, damn, man, I remember you said you don't think much of Victor Ortiz. And I said, the guy has potential, man, right? But he's showing that he has no fucking real heart to really fight out a tough fight. And for him to do so, he's going to have to tap into something that, is really going to have to push him to be, courageous. Because if he feels scared enough, people forget, okay? The definition of courage is not being fearless. It's being able to carry on even though you're afraid, okay? And so, bottom line, I remember when Andre Berto, anytime he fought, they always talk about how exciting he was. And I said, Andre Berto is actually, he is exciting to watch. I said, and he can punch. He got fast hands. I said, the problem with Andre Berto, though, he can't take a punch. Like, he can't take a punch, man. And then, through time, I started to see him, like, get exposed. Like, you started to start relying on his speed and power too much, to where technically he started to look different. And I said, nah, you see, they're stepping up in competition. And this is around the time everybody was talking about how Floyd would have problems with Berto. Floyd would have problems with Ortiz. He beat the shit out of he beat fucking Ortiz. Ortiz was getting frustrated, and this is what I'm saying. He was getting frustrated, purposely headbutt the motherfucker, then got knocked the fuck out being stupid. You want to play me? Now I'm going to play you. And that's how that went. Same thing. But Andre Berto, he wound up having 3 losses by the time he got to Floyd. But bottom line, people were still saying Andre Berto this, Andre Berto that. But then all of a sudden, it wasn't until we heard he was going to fight Floyd, because people were still talking about how exciting he is. He's a warrior. He has heart. So for Ortiz, you saw what in him? Okay, he had a war with Berto. 2. Okay, but guess what? When you look at him and you see the point what I'm saying about certain guys are overhyped. That's what I mean. They're good, and they have certain levels where, okay, you're saying a guy can do something you never seen him do before. Now, I'm saying all this, guys, to make it real simple. When you put all this hype into a fighter, and that fighter doesn't live up to the hype, the first thing people start saying, they start making excuses because they don't want themselves to look foolish for overhyping a person. But you see a guy win and fight nothing but the top guys and win. Then come across a guy that he just couldn't figure out and fought him the wrong way, and pretty much is like, no, you're not going to beat me with that style. The same way how you hear me say, Alicia Baumgardner is going to need more than what she has now to beat Shields. You heard me say the same thing. When AJ fought and lost to Usyk, I said he's not going to beat him with that style. He has to go back to being that puncher, that boxer puncher that he was. He has to go back to being that vicious AJ. That, I will go with AJ any day over Usyk or any of these heavyweights if that AJ showed up. So when I'm saying that, is it because I'm an AJ hater when yet he's the fucking heavyweight I want to see, beat all these other heavyweights? No, I'm just being honest. He's not going to beat Usyk fighting the way that he fought him. Usyk is just better than him at that style. You can't outbox the dude. You're not as good as him in that sense. You have to be that boxer puncher, use your smarts, your reach, your height, your speed, your everything. But you got to do it that way, not the way he tried. And he failed twice. Okay? Simple. So I call it the same exact way it is. Y'all always talk about AJ too big, too many muscles, too big, right? He came in 240-something, came in 250-something. All of a sudden, he's going to fucking 12 rounds and nobody's fucking bringing the point in the fact out that, yeah, he came back in at over 250-something pounds, right? And he didn't gas out. Why? So, and listen, I get it. And I respect Kurt Neville's insight on about Roy Jones, and giving Deontay Wilder the benefit of a doubt, because those things can affect the fighter. That's one thing. But no. Wilder just got his ass whooped because Wilder had no problem going them 12 rounds. Wilder said, his words, I'm supremely confident I'm going to whoop Joseph Parker's ass. And that clip I played for y'all where he was in that mall with Ellie Setback, right? Over in Saudi, shopping and shit. So, yeah. No. Give Joseph Parker his props. That shit Lenox Lewis talking about is rubbish. Because Lenox Lewis personally just has something against AJ. We know that. And he's going to try to, find the nicest way possible to make an excuse for Deontay Wilder. As I said, if AJ looked the way Deontay looked, he would be saying, fuck a new trainer. He need to just retire. He comes back and he looks spectacular. And Lewis still finds, nothing but negativity. That shit doesn't matter because it's not going to stop progress. Like Anthony Joshua said, I fight as hard as I train, right? It doesn't stop until I want it to stop. So he has to understand what I said for the longest. It wasn't AJ's physicality. It's the mental game. He needs somebody to, okay? So when you hear him say everything just clicked. So where you guys are saying him fighting, training with different trainers isn't going to help him. Well, it actually helped him, didn't it? Because like I said, even in a loss is still experience gained. You don't just gain experience when you win. You can have a draw, whatever it may be. These are things you take it to the next, that experience to know how to adjust and readjust. That's the purpose of fighting different styles. Because now I know how to adjust to that. I know what to do with that. You've seen certain guys fight orthodox, right? Then they switch up southpaw, right? Then the person they fight and switch up southpaw, like, oh, I didn't know this motherfucker could do that too. Yeah, so it just took your advantage away. You understand? Or they switch up southpaw and it still don't work. But bottom line, sometimes it does. It's an individual thing. So, bottom line, just be honest about the shit. Say it like it is. Fuck hurting feelings. The guy went in there, he got his ass whooped by a better fighter. And that's all the fuck that was. And I refuse to sit here and make excuses for anybody. Y'all the same motherfuckers who won't make... Errol Spence done got surgery again. Yet, nobody don't want to hear nothing other than Terrence Crawford was the better man. Right? So why when it comes to Wilder, you know what I'm saying? Why when it comes to Wilder, it's always a fucking excuse. Every fucking time with Wilder. So, nah. But, yeah, I just wanted to get that out and make those points. Because, yeah, you know, people got to understand, shit happens differently. You can't say, it's like you could have somebody the same exact weight, same size in the biceps, chest, traps, everything, right? One motherfucker might be like fucking so much stronger than the other guy. Looking at them, you might not be able to tell. So you can't just say, oh, they the same size, same, okay, it's even. No. You're talking about stature. We're talking about power. We're talking about strength. No, it's not even comparable. Don't assume shit. We all giving our opinions on things, but, you got to look at shit for what it is, man. Nah. It wasn't because of Errol Spence's eye. It wasn't because of nothing else. Terrence Crawford was just better. Okay, keep that same fucking energy with Deontay Wilder. Joseph Parker was just better. Bottom line. Period. End of story. Talk to me in the comment section, y'all. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.